where the dust learns our names. Caleb Hart rides into town just as the sun sinks low, turning the dust road gold. He keeps his hat pulled low, but the town recognizes him anyway by the way he sits his horse, by the scars time never fully hides. He had left years ago without goodbye, and now his return unsettles old rhythms. From the schoolhouse window, Eliza Monroe sees him and stills. She tells herself it means nothing, but her heart remembers faster than her mind can stop it. Caleb walks the edges of the valley, touching fences he once helped build. Every stretch of land holds a memory. Laughter, anger, promises spoken to young. Eliza walks home that evening and feels the same pull, as if the earth itself is reminding her of the boy who once believed in staying. When they cross paths at the general store, words fail them both. The land, however, remembers everything. Eliza's days are filled with children, chalk dust, and patience hard-earned. Caleb watches her from a distance, struck by how steady she has become. When he finally steps inside the schoolhouse to fix a broken hinge, their conversation is careful and restrained. Yet every glance lingers. What was once tender now feels fragile, as if one wrong word could shatter it. Talk of a land claim spreads through town, sharp and uneasy. Ranchers argue, tempers flare, and loyalties are tested. Caleb is drawn into the conflict because of his past and Eliza because of her present. They find themselves standing on different sides of the same problem, each trying to protect what they love. The distance between them grows, heavy with unsaid fears. The community gathering brings everyone together beneath the stars. Firelight softens hard edges, and music drifts through the night air. Caleb and Eliza finally speak freely, laughter slipping in where silence once lived. For a moment, the world narrows to shared warmth and familiar smiles. When their hands brush, neither pulls away, but the night ends before either dares to cross the line. Caleb tells Eliza the truth about why he left: fear, pride, and a belief that he was never meant to stay anywhere too long. His confession is rough, unfinished. Eliza listens quietly, torn between understanding and old hurt. She admits how his absence shaped her, how she learned to stand alone. The honesty draws them closer, even as it exposes wounds. Tensions over the land erupt into violence. A confrontation turns dangerous, and the valley holds its breath. Caleb steps forward when others hesitate, proving he is no longer the man who ran. Eliza witnesses his courage and his vulnerability and realizes how deeply she still cares. Fear sharpens every feeling. In the aftermath, the town is shaken. Eliza chooses to stand beside Caleb publicly, despite whispers and doubt. Her faith in him becomes an act of quiet defiance. Alone together, they share a moment of closeness for heads touching. Breaths mingling, trust forming where certainty cannot. The conflict reaches its breaking point. Loss leaves marks no one can ignore. Caleb is injured while protecting another, and Eliza tends to him through the long night. In the hush between pain and relief, love is no longer something they pretend not to name. She stays until dawn, refusing to let him face the darkness alone. The valley begins to heal, though scars remain. The land dispute eases, not through victory, but compromise. Caleb wonders if he deserves a place in the peace that follows. Eliza answers him without words, by choosing him, by staying. What survives is not the past they lost, but the future they are brave enough to claim. The morning comes quietly, without urgency or fear. Caleb wakes to sunlight spilling through the window. Eliza seated nearby with a cup of coffee, cooling in her hands. There is no rush to leave, no saddle waiting at the door. For the first time in his life, staying feels like a decision instead of a burden. They walk the valley together, speaking of ordinary things, repairs to be made, lessons to plan, fences to mend. Yet beneath every word lies something profound: intention. Caleb tells her he wants a life shaped by presence, not escape. Eliza listens, cautious but hopeful, and finally believes him not because of promises, but because he remains. Seasons pass, and the valley softens. The land that once divided neighbors now holds shared labor and quiet understanding. Caleb builds again, this time with care, knowing every beam set into the earth is a declaration of staying. Eliza watches him from the porch, love growing not in grand moments, but in the constancy of days. At sunset, they stand together as the wind moves gently through the grass. The dust rises, familiar and forgiving. Here, their names are known not by force or history, but by the lives they've chosen to live side by side. And in this place that once only taught them how to survive, they finally learn how to belong. Life settles into a rhythm. Neither of them rushes anymore. Mornings begin with coffee shared on the porch, evenings with quiet walks through land that finally feels kind. Caleb learns that love lives in small acts, fixing a loose step, waiting for Eliza to finish her lessons, listening. Eliza, in turn, lets herself lean into happiness without bracing for loss. Their joy is not loud, but it is steady, and it changes everything. One evening, beneath a sky brushed with stars, they speak vows no one else hears. There is no ceremony, no gathered crowd, only truth. Caleb promises to stay, not out of duty, but devotion. Eliza promises to choose him, even when fear whispers otherwise. Their hands clasp in the dark, hearts certain. It is not a beginning, but a recognition of what they have already built together. Time moves forward, carrying hope instead of regret. The schoolhouse fills with laughter, the fields with new growth. Caleb and Eliza stand side by side as plans take shape, rooms added, fences mended, dreams spoken aloud. At sunset, they pause, watching the land glow, familiar and forgiving. This future knows them, holds them, and will never ask them to leave. Together, they remain. The valley is older now, gentler in its way. Seasons have come and gone, leaving their marks in softened fences and deepened roots. At dusk, the air carries the familiar scent of earth and wind, and the light settles low across the land they never left. Eliza stands on the porch as Caleb comes in from the fields, dust on his boots, the same easy smile he wears only for her. Their love has grown not in spectacle, but in mornings shared in evenings, stitched together by conversation and quiet laughter. When he takes her hand, it fits as if it always knew where it belonged. They watch the sun sink beyond the hills, shoulders touching, heart steady. The world they built is simple, hard-earned and full. In a place that once demanded survival, they found something far rarer: belonging. And as the dust rises softly around them, it carries their names, like a promise the land will keep forever. Like and subscribe. Aurora Tale Wild West. God bless.